Hello and welcome to the Open Virtual Film Project. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to bring a material into Unreal using the tools and methodologies developed for this project. So, first thing I need is a material. In this case, I am downloading Painted Plaster 8 from cc0textures.com. There will be a link to download this in the description of this video. And once I have it downloaded, I will unzip it, and in that folder I have a series of texture maps. cc0textures.com is a great place for free PBR, physically based material textures. So, before I go into Unreal, I like to do my naming conventions, following my naming conventions guide. So I know that these are textures, and they're going to need to get TX and a package name associated with them, since they don't have them already. Material name is going to be Painted Plaster 08. There's no free write on this, and the suffix code needs to change for each of these. Ambient occlusion becomes AO, and so forth, based off of the naming convention guide here. To do naming conventions like this, I like to use a free tool called the bulk file rename utility on Windows. And with it open, I can grab my textures, drag them in, and I know I need to add tx cc0 underscore to the start, and then I need to remove this 4K here with its underscore. And then if I were doing a series of materials all at the same time, I might use the replace text to replace displacement with DISP. However, since I'm just doing one, it's quicker for me to do this manually. Normal becomes NRM, roughness becomes RGH, ambient occlusion becomes AO, and color becomes COL. With that done, I can hit save. It'll rename my files in my folder, and I'm done with the bulk file rename utility. Now bring these files into Unreal. So I've got the files open. I'm opening my Open Virtual Film Project version 425, version 1. And I'm going to follow my folder structure guide on where these are ending up. So these are an asset, and they're going to fall under the materials category. Specifically, there's a paint plaster category that is one of the general categories that I use that I'm going to put this inside of. So following the folder conventions, once I have content, assets, materials, paint, plaster, I'm going to add a new folder with the material name, which is going to be MI, the source, which is CC0, and the name of the material, which is Painted Plaster 08. Open that folder and import my image files by drag and dropping. Once the textures are imported, I'm going to save them. In this instance, I don't want to save the level that's open, so I just unticked it. With them saved, I'm now going to use a material generator script that I created, which can be found following the OVFP plugin button. And there is a material from textures. There's a lot going on in this tool, but by default, it's all set up for the naming convention used by the Open Virtual Film Project. So all I need to do is select my textures and click the Make Material button. If you have a roughness, ambient occlusion, or metallic map, and you click Make Material, if it does not create an ORM map like this, you probably need to click Make Material a few more times. It occasionally takes a few times to get that set into a buffer, and it's a problem that I'm working through. However, with my material created, I can now close my material generator and use this material out in my scene. So before I use it, I'm going to hit save only the things I want to save. Now I can drag and drop this. You see it's got roughness on it, it's got some normal maps on it, and if I open it up, I have a bunch of parameters that I can edit. If I choose such as UV scale. Since this material is found in the assets folder, I want to make sure that I am aware that any changes that are made here can have knock-on effects anywhere else in the project that this asset is used. So generally I leave a standard version with no fancy things happening inside the assets folder, and then if I were to create a new variation of the material, I would either create it in the same materials folder using the free write field, or I would use the environments materials folder, as we'll talk about in a later video. But to show you creating a variation, you'll see that this auto-generated material does not use the displacement map that was provided for us. So we're going to create a variation that does that. To do that, I'm going to duplicate the standard version, add my free write at the end. In this case, I'm just going to put DISP as displacement. Now when I open it, I can make my edit to this material, which is to change its parent material from swap solid to swap solid displacement. With that done, I want to go up to where my displacement map is found, take this little box here, and drag and drop my displacement map into the material. So now, if I add an object that has enough triangles in it to be displaced, such as this sphere, and I apply that material to it, you'll see it is changing the outer profile of the object, which is what displacement maps do. For emphasis, I'm going to quickly change my displacement modifier on this, and you can see I have this nice rough broken plaster texture revealing some bricks. Okay, that's it for this video, and in the next video I'm going to show you how to import a simple asset.